In 1880, a heated argument in Newcastle turned deadly, as a quarrel between two women escalated into violence, leaving one woman dead. David Anderson, labourer, and Anne Grimes, hawker, were placed on the trial for the manslaughter of Anne Manson in the house of Anderson, number 1 Church Walk, Pilgrim Street, Newcastle, on the night of the 16th or the morning of the 17th of October. The female prisoner lodged with Anderson and the deceased woman, who lived together as man and wife, and on the night of the occurrence, all three were worse for drink. The deceased seems to have become jealous of Grimes, as she was heard around 9 o'clock Saturday night to order her away and call her opprobrious names. The neighbours heard a quarrel and a fall, and on their being called in, Anderson said that Grimes had struck the blow, which caused the deceased woman to bleed to death from a wound on her left temple. Mr. Strachan argued that it was quite evident that the fatal quarrel occurred whilst Anderson was fast asleep, in a state of drunkenness. His lordship agreed with Mr. Strachan and directed the jury to find a verdict of not guilty, which was accordingly done, and he was discharged. Mr. Boyd, on behalf of the female prisoner, contended that the woman had had a quarrel, and the accused woman had inflicted the blow in self-defense. The jury found her guilty and she was sentenced to 5 years penal servitude. During her arrest, Anne gave the false surname Grimes to the police, possibly to protect her identity. Interestingly, her children later adopted this surname, though the reason for this remains unclear. However, this wasn't Anne's first brush with the law. She had already served 18 previous short sentences, indicating a long history of trouble with authority. A heartbreaking detail found in her records revealed she had birthed 16 children, 9 of which had passed away, a tragic reflection of the harsh realities many families faced during this time. While incarcerated, Anne maintained a close relationship with her son Andrew, staying connected through frequent letters. Meanwhile, she was assigned to do oakum picking, a grueling and painful task that involved untwisting old tarred rope. This labour was a common form of punishment in prisons, and it often left prisoners' hands raw, bleeding and cramped. Anne served 3 years of her sentence before being released in 1883 on licence, which led her to the East End Refuge in Finchley. She remained there for just under a year before returning to Newcastle, where she took up residence with her married son Charles and her 2 younger sons Michael and William. By 1911, Anne was an elderly woman living in the Newcastle Workhouse Hospital. Her life came to an end in 1914, at the age of 85, after she fell into a coma caused by an intestinal obstruction.